which I came from. But I'm glad that the Bible has an example of Jesus being a trailblazer,
All right.
of coming out of an environment that people consider to be impossible.
Yes, yeah.
All right. All right.
For countless individuals who lives in the inner cities and who see drugs and violence and haven't never seen a positive role model, never seen a doctor come out there, never want to see the lawyer come out there, never see one graduated out there, they can turn to the book of John.
Yeah.
And we have an example that despite all odds against Jesus, he made it out.
That's right.
One would ask the question, why would God allow his son to be raised in an environment like that?
Wow.
It's because that he knew that it would be a ghetto one day.
That's right.
He knew that it would be a hood one day.
Yes.
And they need to see, if they don't have a living example,
All
at least
right.
they have a biblical example.
Amen. Amen.
What's taking place in our particular text is now Jesus is now looking for disciples. It's unusual that a rabbi or a teacher or a master will go about looking for disciples the way that Jesus is doing it. Usually the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the way that they would do it, or the religious leaders of their day, is that the disciple will go to them and ask to be a student. But Jesus told it totally opposite. He went on a hunt
Yeah.
to find the best candidate possible
Wow.
in order for them to become his disciples. And the guys that he picked, usually no one will pick them
That's right.
because they was unlearned and ignorant men considered for society.
That's right. That's right.
But there was businessmen, there was owners of ships, there was fishermen, and
That's
he went
right.
on
That's
on the Sea of Galilee, and he found Andrew first. Now I have to preach real hard because y'all know who Andrew is.
All right. Come on here.
If you don't know who Andrew, you at least know who his brother is.
All right.
It's Simon Peter.
Peter.
Simon Peter, but the first encounter, the first disciple that Jesus found was Andrew. And Andrew finds his brother Simon and told Simon that he had founded Christos, or the Messiah, the anointed one.
Yes.
And from there, Jesus had an encounter with Simon, and you know that he changed his name.
Yeah.
Changed the Petros to mean to be rock. He called him something with which he was not yet.
Right.
And that's what I liked about God. He called those things to be not as they are. And so he called things into existence.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
God can see the best of you, even before you even see it.
That's right. Yeah.
That he's seen that one day that what he will become. Because what you are now is not what you are going to become. And I'm so glad I have a God that can see beyond my present circumstances. But everybody say you won't be, but God said you will be. And I'm glad that God has the final say on all of our lives. And so after Andrew have encounter with his brother, and after Jesus has an encounter with Peter, now it says that now Philip, the next day, now has an encounter with Jesus. And Jesus just says two words to him: come and follow me, or come follow me, or three. That means that he's giving him a personal invitation.
That's right. That's right.
Now to become one of his disciples. And he said Philip was of the same geographic or location or the same birthplace as Andrew and Simon or Peter. And that's Bethsaida. But now Philip now goes and finds Nathanael.
All right.
Matter of fact, one text said that he sought out Nathanael. That means that he was out on the search to find
Yeah, going looking for him. Come on now.
Nathanael.
Amen.
Now he finds Nathanael,
All right.
and he tells Nathanael, we have found the one Moses of the law and the one preached by the prophets. So it tells me a little bit about Philip.
All right.
And we can't just do a drive-by and go real fast.
All
Because
right.
Philip is saying something deep.
Yeah, yeah.
Philip is saying to us this morning.
Encounter with the word. Come on here.
Philip knew the word.
Yeah, he knew the word.
Philip knew the word, because you had to understand during that particular time they was anticipating that the Christos or the Messiah was coming.
That's right.
The promised one, the one that Moses said that God will raise up someone similar
That's right.
to me. And it was not Joshua.
No.
It was talking about prophesying that it was going to be Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
The one that Isaiah quoted and says that it was going to be a root from Jesse.
That's it.
Going to shoot up and it's going to bloom.
Yeah.
That means that he's going to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Philip understood the Torah.
Yeah.
He understood.
That's right.
He understood the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
He was astute, and so he sought out Nathaniel and taught Nathaniel the one that we was looking for.
Right. Yeah, he's here.
He's here. The one that the law have been talking about all these years. The one that the prophets have been preaching about from Psalms and Levitical, everywhere that you can find Jesus.
All right now.
He said he's present.
Yeah.
And look at you have to look at his response. He says it's Jesus.
Yeah.
He says that Joseph's son, the one from Nazareth.
Yeah.
Now he broke that down. First of all, he says that it's Joseph's son. It's real important because you got to understand names.
That's right. Come on.
And locations.
That's right.
Means a whole lot to
them. That's right.
To us it don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. We can name our son Cadillac. Jaguar.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm talking about? It don't mean that to us. It don't mean that they're going to grow up and have luxury. They're going to grow up and have money. That don't mean that to us. You're talking about we just careless with words and careless with names and everything like that. Oh, that's a cute name, so I'm going to name my daughter that. But they had intentionality. They was intentional of what they named their sons and their daughters, or what they was talking about. So John is not just saying anything just to say anything. So he says it's Joseph's son, right? And so usually when you see things like that, that means that the individual is going to do what the father have done. And that's why they call him the carpenter's son.
That's right.
Right? And Joseph's son, right? Then he says that where he's from is from Nazareth. Because now if you know where a person from, you know what they're about.
That's right.
You know a whole lot about, at least you think you know. Assumption that you know. Right? In certain places that when I say, when individuals say, we ask them very quick, where you from? Right? We try to get a read on them. We're talking about. We try to say, you really like us or not? Right. You know what I'm talking about? Because now we can make an assumption, right? And picture in our mind and what that individual is like. Because a person comes from a certain geographic location, a certain culture, or whatever it may be. It may not be what you think.
That's right.
Right? So in our particular text, Nathaniel, because he says that, because he heard Philip said that he comes from Nazareth, he says to him, man, you kidding. This have to be a joke.
Right.
This can't be for real.
Yeah.
There's just no way that the Messiah can come from Nazareth. He says that it's impossible. It can't happen. There are several reasons why Nathaniel said what he said. Because Nathaniel and all the rest of them lived 16 miles away from Nazareth.
All right.
Now Nazareth didn't have a port where ships and stuff can go into. Whereas Bethsaida and Galilee and all the rest of them was ships and everything can go into there. So that means that they can get imports and things can go in there. And so so they can make a good living. You know what I'm talking about? They can sell fish, they can trade, they can do everything. But Nazareth, you couldn't do that.
Right.
So the background of Nazareth is that they have 500 people. Like 500.
Right.
Huh? Small town.
Yeah, almost like school.
Close to it, isn't it?
Amen.
500. Right? No ports, nothing going, nothing really going in because it's up a mountain. Right? It's up a mountain.
Right.
And so that means that it's isolated around everybody else, right? People there don't have that much education.
That's right.
Right? Because they're that exposed to
Right.
everything else that everybody else is privy to.
Right.
Right? So you only had the limited jobs, the limited exposure,
That's
and
right.
everything like that. Nathaniel know it. So Nathaniel said to himself, with limited exposure, where you can't get no imports and anything in there, can anything really come out of that thing? Anything derived can come out of that thing? And so that means a whole lot to me because it's a lot of people who believe because a person comes from a certain place that nothing good can ever come out of. But really listen to what he's saying. He says, good. So he's telling me that there's nothing good in Nazareth.
All right, come on now.
It was an immoral place. It was a place where sinners resides at. Right? He says, could anything good come out of that place? So otherwise, when Nathaniel says that he never seen anything come out of that place that was good.
That's it. That amount to anything. Come on now.
So it tells me that
Wow.
nothing good has ever came out of
Wow.
Nazareth.
Jesus.
That's not my sermon though. That's not my sermon.
All right.
I said that for later. That's not my sermon.
All right.
But look what Philip says. Now Philip did not respond to what Nate was talking about. I'm naming Nate. We put names.
Yeah, come on, see.
We'll break them down. Nate made a joke of it. Talking about being sarcastic and everything. And so Philip didn't say nothing about it. But Philip said, "Why don't you do something? Just come and see.
Just come see. Yeah.
Just come and see." Because Philip understands, if I just can get you
To come see.
to come see.
Just shut up and come see.
Come see, right? I like that because that word "come see" is powerful.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, when a lady was at the well, when she went back to the village,
Come see a man.
come see him.
That's it. Come on.
They understand if you can just see him,
Yeah, for yourself.
he'll change your whole perspective.
Yeah, come on now.
I don't gotta preach about it no more. I don't gotta say nothing about it no more. All I need you to do,
Come see.
come see for yourself.
That's it.
That's what he said. All you got to do is come see for yourself. Because you understand, Philip already seen for himself. Andrew already seen for himself. You talking about Simon already seen for himself. But Nathaniel, I need you
Yeah, to come see.
to come see. You think it's a joke, don't you? Come see if it's a joke or not. You don't think nothing good come out of Nazareth. Just come and see for yourself. And then what Jesus said, Jesus says to him, when he was coming, Jesus said to him, there's your Israelite, no false bone in his body. Now, right, we know Jesus said, man, I can deal with you. You real.
Yeah, come on now.
You see, no, that's what he's talking about. He alluded back to what he was saying in the first place, because Jesus already know what he was saying.
That's right. That's
He
right.
said, man, there's no Galilee. You said no Galilee. No, man, you real, man. You talking about that. At least Jesus can deal with him.
That's right.
In that perspective, because he understood, he was saying what he thought.
Yeah.
He really believed nothing good could come out of it. And he said, man, here you go, man. Ain't no false bone in your body.
Amen.
You can deal with somebody
Yeah.
because they being real.
That's right. That's right. Amen.
It's hard to find. That's not my sermon, but it's hard to find the people who is real.
That's right. Yeah, it is.
And Nate, he kept it real. Look what Nate said. They said, man, where you get that idea from? He said to Jesus, you don't even know me. You don't even know me and telling me. Ain't no talking about.
Ain't no false bones in my
Ain't no false bones in his body. You know what I'm talking about? And so keep going. He said, Jesus answered, he said, one day, or yours says a little different, one day long before Philip called you here, I saw you under the fig tree. Nathanael exclaimed, Rabbi, or it mean to be master. You're the Son of God, the King of Israel.
Wow.
So Jesus says that even before Philip called you,
I saw you.
I already
That's right.
saw it.
Yeah, I knew your location. Yeah, I knew your address.
All right. Amen.
You already saw him. Oh, you was on my, you already saw him. So because Jesus said that, now he believed. That's what it says. Now, and Jesus said, you become a believer. That's why mine says become a believer. I got about 10 minutes, so I'm going to get y'all out here. You have become a believer simply because I saw you one day sitting under the fig tree. Now, he believed that Jesus is the Messiah and everything like that simply because Jesus told him where he was.
Yeah.
Now, we want to really get down to what we want to get down to because he haven't seen nothing yet.
Right. That's right. That's it. That's
He
it.
thought that just because Jesus said that he saw him under the fig tree, that was something.
All right.
But Jesus says, I'm really going to show you
Yeah.
something.
That's right.
And what I'm going to tell you that, you know what, as you become a disciple of Jesus, Jesus want to take you somewhere you never, to see some things that you never seen
That's it.
before.
Amen. Amen.
Nathanael have not seen anything yet.
That's right.
That's what my scripture says. You haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying is that God do want to do exceedingly abundantly above all you can think or begin to imagine in your life.
Yes. Yeah, you do.
As you become a follower and as you become acquainted with Jesus, He want to show you something, right? Beyond what your present circumstances really is.
That's right. That's right. Amen. Amen.
He said, that's what he said. You haven't seen anything yet. He said, before this is over, you're going to see heaven open. I was so glad that Mama prayed this morning.
Amen. Amen.
The heavens.
Heaven is open. That's what he said. He said that while I was in prayer.
Open them up, baby.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
It's open.
That's it. Amen.
It's open.
It's open. That's what he
That
said.
means that prayer you have, that request that you
Come
have,
on now, Pastor.
is open.
It's open. Yeah, come on now.
It's open. It's open. It's
Yeah.
open. I mean, you know, I'm talking about, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, what I was going to preach about. But when she started to pray, I said, God, you got it. I know it's open. I know it's open. All the prayers that I've been praying, all the things I've been stacking up, it's starting to come out on me.
Glory to God. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Bless him.
And he said, you haven't seen anything yet.
Wow, wow, wow.
It's open. I mean, you know what? Open heaven. What's that lady there? She's singing open heaven. She got a song. Tell me about that. But I'll get a little later. I want to sing it.
All
But
right.
he
now.
says open heaven, and you will see
Amen.
angels descending and descending.
Amen. Amen.
But what he's saying is that we trying to equate that with Joseph, going up and down, and Jacob going up and down. But really, what it means that the angels, when we have our requests and all that stuff, you know what they do?
What?
Bring it up to God,
Come on down.
and then bring them on down.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
And when
you
you
do.
need healing, you know, he bring it down. He bring it on down. When you need deliverance, you know what he do? He bring it on down. That's how they work. That's how the angels work. And he told Nathanael, you're going to see it manifest in my ministry.
Wow.
And you'll see it manifest in your life.
Amen.
If any time that this is the time for the believer right now is the time for believers to grab everything
All right.
that God has for you, because the heavens
It's open.
is open.
Thank you, Lord.
Everything that we have, you know where it's at? It's stored up there.
Yeah.
It's going to come down.
Yeah.
Amen.
God says it's going to come down.
Wow.
If you thought that you saw something now,
Just wait.
you just wait.
Preach, Pastor.
You
That's it.
just
That's all you gotta do.
wait.